When the applause fades and the stadium lights go dark, the real story begins. Behind the legend known as the King of Country stood a life filled with quiet devotion, heartbreaking loss, and one woman who never left his side. While millions sang along to his songs, George Strait was carrying memories the crowd could never see. And one tragedy would change the way he faced fame forever. For more than 4 decades, George Strait has been one of the most recognizable voices in country music. With over 100 million records sold and more #1 hits than any artist in the genre, his success helped define an entire era. But long before the sold-out stadiums and legendary status, his life began in a much simpler place, with a girl named Norma. George first met Norma in high school in Texas during the late 1960s. At the time, music wasn't even his main plan. He imagined a future working on ranch land or in agriculture. The two teenagers barely spoke at first, simply noticing each other from a distance. Eventually, George asked her out on a date. Strangely, after that first outing, they went their separate ways for a while. But life has a way of bringing certain people back together. Their paths crossed again, and this time the connection stayed. On December 4, 1971, the young couple made a spontaneous decision. Instead of planning a long engagement, they drove across the border to Mexico and got married. Later, they returned to Texas for a small church ceremony so their families could celebrate. At the time, there were no headlines or cameras, just 2 young Texans starting a life together. Soon after, George enlisted in the U.S. Army and was stationed in Hawaii. Norma moved there with him, and in 1972 they welcomed their first child, a daughter named Jennifer. Their life seemed simple and steady. George played music occasionally in local bands, but fame was still far from reality. After leaving the Army in 1975, he returned to Texas and enrolled in college, studying agriculture. Music remained a side pursuit, something he performed in bars and dance halls at night with a group that eventually became the Ace in the Hole band. But Nashville wasn't impressed. Record labels rejected him repeatedly, saying his traditional sound didn't fit the polished direction country music was moving toward. After years of frustration, George nearly gave up. He even planned to quit music entirely for a stable job designing cattle pens. That's when Norma stepped in. She asked him for just 1 more year to try. It was a small request, but it changed everything. In 1981, George signed with MCA Records and released his first single, Unwound. The song climbed the charts and reached the top 10. Suddenly, the traditional sound Nashville once rejected was exactly what audiences wanted. His career exploded. Hit songs followed, albums went platinum, and George Strait quickly became one of the biggest stars in country music. But in 1986, tragedy struck. Their 13-year-old daughter, Jennifer, died in a car accident after the vehicle she was riding in lost control near San Marcos, Texas. The loss devastated the family and changed George forever. From that point forward, he became intensely private, rarely discussing his personal life with the media. Instead of speaking publicly about their grief, George and Norma created the Jennifer Strait Memorial Foundation to support children's charities across Texas. Even as heartbreak lingered, George's music career soared. Between 1986 and 1989, he released 11 consecutive #1 songs, one of the most remarkable streaks in country music history. Through it all, Norma remained the steady center of his life. While George stood under the spotlight, she stayed mostly out of it, focusing on their son, Bubba, and the quiet routines of family life. Decades later, after countless tours and legendary concerts, George began stepping away from the road. His farewell tour, The Cowboy Rides Away, ended in 2014 in front of more than 100,000 fans. But for George Strait, the most important audience had always been one person: the girl from Texas who believed in him when no one else did. And when the music finally fades and the arena empties, that's where his story ends, walking off stage back to the life he started with Norma more than 50 years ago. If this story surprised you, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories, and tell us in the comments which legendary artist we should uncover next.